When we think of stuff for travel, we think of things like this, or this. But surprisingly, after sailing the skies for nearly 250 flights for both work, spanning industrial settings to active combat zones, and of course, for leisure, from the hot and humid to below zero temperatures, a simple flashlight is to me by far the most underrated travel accessory, and we will dive into the 3 most impactful use cases in about 10 seconds. But first, you might be thinking, every cell phone already has a built-in flashlight. The 3 use cases I'm about to share, ranging from minor nuisances to major emergencies, are ones that the built-in light on cell phones simply cannot handle, beginning with hands-free illumination. I'm currently on a 6-month work trip, and in most cities I like hiking on evenings and using bike shares like these awesome U-bikes here in Taipei. And being able to easily slide this Nightcore T4K to the brim of my cap makes night rides that much better. But it goes so far beyond daily exploration like hiking and cycling. I mean, if I were to say get a flat tire on a rented car in the middle of the night, changing a spare tire while constantly holding my phone for its flashlight sounds like a nightmare. For hands-free illumination, I look for a compact size, and more critically, either a beam up or a double-sided clip, like the one found here on the ROVYVON E3s and E4s. Again, for attaching to the brim of my cap. Moving on, it's all about how, unlike a phone's light, most dedicated flashlights have multiple output levels. To give you some comparative context, the flashlight on modern iPhones are 50 lumens. My travel flashlight has 5 output levels of just 1 lumen, 15 lumens, 65 lumens, 200 lumens, and a shockingly bright 4000 lumen short burst turbo mode. Power outages can happen anywhere, but regardless of the circumstances, a dedicated flashlight means you can find a cup, turn on the flashlight, put it into the cup, and shove a sock in there to keep it aimed up, and it can illuminate an entire room for hours while freeing up your phone to check on updates or contact people instead of using it as your light source. To help convey this visually, here's the bedroom of my Airbnb in Taipei in the middle of the night, and with the torch in the cup trick, you can see that at just 65 lumens, because it's aimed upwards at the white ceiling, where the light is then reflected all over the room, it is totally functional, and despite not even being at a full charge, I still have well over 4 hours left of illumination. By the way, some of you may be wondering why a 1 lumen moonlight mode even exists. You see, especially for travel, 1 lumen lets you look for things without drawing attention to yourself. If it's at night and I need to quickly look for something inside of my backpack, shining this moonlight mode lets me do that confidently without worrying about sticking out like a target. The feature I seek for these use cases beyond the obvious of various output levels is a reliable way to see how much power I have left so I can use or ration with confidence. This T4K has a screen that lets me know down to the remaining second how much illumination I have left at any given output. But many flashlights like this EDC33 have power bar LEDs on the side, or this ROVYVON we saw earlier, although lacking in a power gauge, offers a spare AAA battery slot in the event the built-in lithium battery dies, and AAA batteries are typically readily available at 24-hour convenience stores everywhere. The third most valuable use case is in self-defense, and that is where that 4000 lumen blast comes in. Look, no matter how star-spangled strapped you are on home turf, and no matter how well-trained you might be, whether it's in hand-to-hand combat, or counterblade tactics, or broomstick beatdowns, forget the fact that we can't fly with weapons. Simply engaging in any physical altercation is one of, if not the dumbest thing anyone can possibly do while traveling. We don't know the local laws. If crap hits the fan, at best you win, but have scuffed swollen knuckles for the rest of the vacation. And at worst you get thrown into a prison that makes our supermaxes look like 5-star resorts, all while possibly not even be able to speak the local language to communicate effectively. This section of the video, by the way, is in no way meant to scare you. Statistically, you will never encounter any danger in the form of a physical attack while traveling, but if you travel solo, and double especially if you're a solo female traveler, a high-output flashlight is hands down the most effective self-defense tool that carries zero risk of you being charged criminally abroad. When it comes to features, in my opinion, 1000 lumens is enough to do the trick at night. Seizure warning, so skip ahead 10 seconds if you are prone to seizures, but an additional feature you may want is a strobe mode for even more attention grabbing and blinding disorientation, like that found on this P20iX. If you do decide that self-defense is a compelling reason to get one, it may seem very silly, but you need to spend some time to practice. What I mean is, you need to know how to activate turbo mode without looking. I know by touch, in my pockets, pressing and holding this button will sail those 4000 lumens out. And I know by touch that this flat textured button ships that blinding strobe out of this guy. And most importantly, if I'm headed to more off the beaten path places, my flashlight is the only thing in my back right pocket. Adrenaline is a real thing, so practice also means ensuring that A, you know exactly where the torch is when you need, B, you're not fumbling around other things looking for it, and C, you know how to use it by touch only. These were just the 3 most valuable use cases in my opinion, but there are so many more. From the mundane, like an extra light source for photos at night, where even the built-in flash of your phone's camera might not be bright enough, to reading menus and bills in dark lounges, a capable yet compact flashlight is to me by far the most underrated travel kit add-on. I'm not trying to convince you on any one particular flashlight. I am, however, absolutely trying to convince you that a dedicated flashlight should be a strong contender for your travel accessory lineup, and you can find all of the flashlight we talked about linked down in the description below if you want to research them more for yourself. If you have been with me for a bit, you know I exclusively use Olight brand flashlights at the workshop when I'm home in Toronto, but their proprietary magnetic charging disc automatically disqualifies them to me as a travel torch. All of these night cores, as well as this ROVYVON, and countless other flashlights use USB Type-C, which means I can just pack one single Thunderbolt 4 cable and know that it can charge my laptop, both my cameras, my microphones, my power bank, and yes, my flashlight. But I'm curious, so before continuing, I'd love to know down in the comments what accessory you feel is crazy underrated for travel as well. Regardless of whether you agree that a flashlight is a must-have travel companion or not, one thing that is not debatable is that choosing what to bring with you on trips is worth putting quite a lot of thought into. And if you would like to see my complete travel tech and EDC loadout, you will definitely want to watch these videos right over here. I'll leave them both on screen for a few seconds so you can choose which one to watch next, but while you're deciding, if you got value from this video, consider subscribing and hitting that bell so you'll be notified the moment new videos just like this one drop.